And we're live. Hello, hello, welcome. I'm going live also on Instagram. Go live. Link. All right. The cat is meowing from the other door. One of those days, one of those days. However, everything is beautiful, everything is great. People are still joining, so it's amazing. It's funny, usually during these, first off, let me present myself. I'm Noemi, founder of ScaleWave. Hello and welcome. You just what? Yeah, it was like a sentence already was made in my mind. My mouth has a hard time keeping up with things. So again, one of those days, right? But welcome, welcome, welcome. You just landed in the Amazon Ask Me Anything section that we are creating every Monday, from 1 p.m. EDT. And it's funny, usually during or before these sessions, I love to prepare a lot when it comes down to, hey, do I have questions here? Do I have everything set up? Is my setup in place? Everything is good. Do I have my water here? So everything is like checklist SOP based. Today, it's interesting because I saw that I have 3 more minutes until the session is beginning. And then I was just scrolling through my LinkedIn feed, and 2 things that I'm just calling them out right now because it's fun to see them. One is from Hannah Tempiok. Let me see. Can I share my screen? If I can share my screen. Can I share my screen? Slides, edit, present. Slides, extra, sheen square. Okay. So I can share my screen. Let me see my window. Can I share my window? Yes. I can share my window. Okay, sharing my window. Brilliant. Adding it to the sketch. All right, awesome. So actually it was, is there a way to maximize? Okay. All right, so you can see what I see on my end. So yeah, it was this post by Hannah Tempiok. She's amazing. We've been working with them on a few designs. And it's interesting, what she posted, and this supplement breaks Amazon main image rule, but it ranks number 1 organic. And what she's saying in the caption, she's mentioning that their main image is a crop bottle. So it's such a cool idea that you can have just the main image of your product, and depending on how far or close it is on a screen, like whenever you're seeing it, how much that space is, basically white space, it's going to help someone or repel someone for clicking on the listing. And I think this is a great point because most of the time, there are so many questions coming in, especially beginner questions and non-beginner questions even on, hey, what is the best practice and my ads are not working, why? Most of the time what I'm seeing is that it's really coming down to one of these things that actually Hannah is right now talking about. Basically, the main image is not big enough, it's not informative enough, it is not going to give the clear, hey, this is why you're supposed to be clicking on the listing, and this is the listing that you've been looking for, or the product that you've been looking for, simply because they are not going to just implement simple tactics. The steps are great, I 100% agree, so I'm just going to read them out loud, this way also giving shout out to her. So here's what they did. They cropped the bottle so the label is huge in search result. Definitely keep in mind that 60% of your customers right now, probably they are purchasing mobile. I know for sure that I love to purchase mobile, and I am one of those 60 percentile. Keep in mind that you might have 60 percentile of your customers who are shopping on mobile and they cannot see your product right away, or they cannot get right away the information they are looking for. Hence, you are competing against someone else, your competitors in this case, to even get the eyeballs to be clicked on the listing itself. So the second tip is that their main keyword is the biggest thing you see. Here again, chlorophyll is the main thing that you can see, and then also how much it is per the third thing is the mg per serving is front and clear and center, so 800 milligrams, and then the number of servings too. Where is the number here? 200 soft gels. So 100% this is something that I would be clicking on, especially if it's already has 4+ ratings. I see that it's a decent price, and I would be checking out this product right away just because already they gave me the information. So this is the first thing that I wanted to share until everyone is joining. And then the second thing I saw, this is interesting. This is from Igor. He and his wife are great. They are still Amazon's PPC agency like us, but they are based in the EU. I would definitely check them out as well. Now, something interesting that he is sharing is, again, why am I running these sessions is because most of the time I know that all the questions that are coming in, or most of the questions are coming in, are still basics, right? So very, very banal questions that's like, okay, should you have not known that? No, you should have not, especially if you don't know how Amazon runs. And the topic that he is talking about here is, again, he's saying it's episode 7, Amazon Basics, and your ads, Amazon ads might not be running right now and you would have no idea. And it's interesting that he's again talking about the buy box issue. So once that you don't have the buy box, no matter how well you structured your advertising, you're just not going to simply be seen, so you're not going to get any impressions. So yeah, well, I will just scroll you through. I just wanted to share these two with you because, as I was saying, most of the time I'm seeing that everyone is saying the latest tips, tricks, and so on, which are great. Do not get me wrong. They are always great to have. But in the same time, let's see. Okay, and let's add my face back to the screen. But in the same time, what I'm seeing most of the time is happening is that you are always attracted to the latest tips, tricks, and so on, and you forget the basics, which is the really fundamentals. Is your listing being seen at least? Great. Then you can advertise further. Or is your main image even the best when it comes down to optimization for mobile? Again, you can down further from that. These are basics, and these go hand in hand with PPC that are not PPC related issues. All right, cutting to the chase, again, for everyone who just joined, hello, and welcome. My name is Noemi. I'm the founder of ScaleWave. We are an agency that specialized in helping brands with Amazon advertising. We are specialized on 6 and 7-figure brands on annual revenue. And today I am going to run one more of our sessions when, I'm just going to answer all the submitted questions or questions that are coming right now, live, We're going to prioritize Amazon advertising. We're going to prioritize beginner questions. If you have a more advanced question, feel free to still drop it in the comment section below. I'm going to answer it, but just so you know what we are going to prioritize. All right, cool. And then without further ado, today's session is going to last around 1 hour long. And I want to make sure that I'm answering as many as possible questions without skipping, without making them too short, without not giving enough detail or enough background of why am I saying what I'm saying. So let's get some fuel. Mango pineapple juice, whoever wants to share some kindness, this is the way how you can show it. Send my mango pineapple juice from Twilight. All right, cool. So first question is, what should I look for when auditing an Amazon PPC account? Great question. What you should be looking for? You should be looking for things that are not obvious to someone that is within that list, within that account for a lot of time or for some time at least. Why am I saying that is because what I'm seeing on now, and we just onboarded an amazing pet brand recently, and what I'm seeing in their account is that they are so close to the account. They already know their margins. They're super well prepared, very, very detail oriented. They know to the bit for each product how much they make, what is the profit. They're aware of that, which are the products that are negative on profit that they should be rethinking or redesigning or not even anymore allocating ads. So they're very, very well prepared. They are the type of brand that I absolutely love working with because they have all these details. They know all those things. So I have all that information and my team can go through and then, okay, know clearly, hey, they already know all these things. So whatever we're doing next, we can base on our information on that. But since you're asking about auditing an Amazon PPC account, very often what I'm seeing is that most of the time people are going to think of, okay, what are the obvious things? And the obvious things might be that they are running sponsored product ads, but they are not running sponsored brand and sponsored display ad. And strategically, I remember very first time when we're talking with this brand, and they were considering us to take over their ads. They were saying, "Hey, look, this is what we have so far, and what is your recommendation?" And my recommendation right away was that I understand that you're not running sponsored brands and sponsored display ads, but I also see that as sponsored products, you're shrinking and your margins are there. And yes, you're gaining more profitability and more profitability. However, what I saw on my end is that they just optimize towards profitability while they optimize also their best performing keywords toward profitability, which you might not see on a short term. That is like, that's a huge win, that's a goal. But on a longer term, let's say on a 6-month time frame, what you're going to end up with is you're over optimizing yourself from even being seen for the most important keywords that are bringing your traffic and sales. So whenever we are auditing accounts, we would look into, okay, so this is the strategy right now. Let's zoom out for clarity, and let's not say the same things that any other agency or account manager would say, that, oh, you have sponsored product, now let's double down on sponsored brand and sponsored display. I was like, I get that you want to become profitable. I also get that right now, everything that is bringing you traffic, bringing you healthy sales, you're just minimizing that even more, and you're going to cut yourself out of the market share. So my go-to answer there, it was, let's make sure that your sponsored products at first are really working the way they're supposed to. And then if they do, great, we're going to duplicate success in sponsored brand, sponsored display. You see, most of the time, whenever you're auditing an account, one might be asking for this checklist on what is the obvious that you should be doing. Yes, you're looking for, is the account bleeding currently? What is the bleeding on the account that I can cut? By bleeding, I mean everything that is outside of strategy, or it's not relevant anymore to the product, or it's not relevant at all at any time to the product, that you would stop right away, right? Well, that is normal, and that is something that you should be looking for. I believe that when it comes down to auditing accounts, really have to have a sense of, if I'm going to continue this moving forward for the next 3, 6 months, a year, what's the standing of the account in 1 year, instead of just this quick, let's audit quickly, and like, these are quickly the things that we should be doing. So it's more of a strategic thinking 5 steps ahead, rather than, this is the scan right now, and like, great, you have the scan, but what does that scanning means? It's going to be important. So those are the things that I personally look for when auditing accounts. Let me know if that helped. Okay. Next question. How did I launch my very first Amazon PPC campaign? You're just in the right spot. Great question. So simply the way how we like to launch campaigns, if you're asking this question, I assume that you never ran ads when it comes down to Amazon ads, and also that you're not very knowledgeable, and also that you just want to start somewhere, which are all great. What I would advise you is that there are certain strategies that are helpful, but if you don't understand the basics, you are just going to start your ad and you don't know like what you did. You created all these campaigns, and then now you're spending money, but you don't know how to optimize. So before you're launching your very first Amazon PPC campaign, what I would advise you is step back for clarity and see, all right, what is the goal? Why am I doing what I'm doing? And probably if it's the first campaign, you want to get more discovery, right? Great. And then you're going to create campaigns that are discovery related. You can create auto campaigns, for example, in this case. And what I would advise you here, just create your first auto campaign and make sure that when you're creating your auto campaign, that all the 4 match types, the close match, supplement, close match, complements, loose match, and substitutes are just differently, like, enabled, disabled. You have the option to toggle the button. So technically what you would be doing, you are creating 4 campaigns, not the one campaign. And by creating these 4 campaigns, what you did, you already save yourself a lot of money and a lot of trouble along the long road when you get information from all those campaigns. That would be the fastest way for you to just create a campaign or a discovery campaign. Here you would be like actually 4 campaigns creating, but what you're going to get is at least it's separated, segregated data that you're going to receive, and then the budget for each of them, it's going to be at least, okay, for $10, let's say if you're having $10 budget for each of them, this is the data that I can get for $10 with this ad type. That is going to be more helpful for you rather than just opening the one campaign, auto campaign, and then trying to figure out what is going on there. Now, really important, if you want to create in exact match campaigns, that would be a manual campaign. And in that scenario, what you would be doing, have at least one of your main of the keywords that is highly describing your product, like very, very closely describing the product, that is not too broad, like not one word, but also not 6-7 words either, So have a list of 5 of those keywords, and then for the first one, just create a campaign for it in exact match, and you will see again, whenever someone would search for that exact match keyword on Amazon, and they would click on it and they would click on your listing, are they like, what are the next action steps? Because that is going to be clear signal for you that I am in exact match, and this is what's happening when I'm running a campaign in an exact match. So someone who had clearly the intent to purchasing a product that describes my product best with this keyword, that's their behavior. So you can be creating those. So technically you would be creating 5 campaigns, 4 auto campaigns. For each, you would have its own ad, like subcategory type enabled, and then 1 exact match campaign. Try, see what's going on, and then probably come back for the next session, because once that you are figuring it out and you have data, then you will have to prune the data, understand what the data means, and then take it from there. All right, next question. Oh, this is a really cool question. I'm going to answer right away, coming here. So my question for you, in your experience, which approach works better for Amazon's prurient image detection, ghost mannequin, or flat lay? For men's intimate apparel specifically, are there any other workarounds or image editing techniques sellers use successfully to get around this policy without completely reshooting? How long should the seller realistically wait for Amazon's specialist team to respond on or escalate prurient image case before considering it a dead end? All right, so this is a great question, and yeah, you're in a very specific niche, and not only in your niche, because you're talking about male, I see here male apparels, but you also, this is for female as well. So I personally do not have experience exactly with this. However, from talking to other sellers who did this and or agencies, honestly, it's just going to be a game of seeing how quickly Amazon is going to detect, pick up on certain things when it comes down to if you're going to test an image that is just a flat lay of the product itself versus if you have it on a mannequin versus if you're having it on a real person. Why am I saying this is because you will see that most of the time, yes, Amazon does not allow this, right? But most of the time what you will see in almost all the categories, sellers or brands or creative designers, they are going to test all these things. So what I would advise you here on the listing that makes the least amount of revenue, test this out and see if it gets suspended. Now, if it got suspended right away for the image that you uploaded, great, you're just going to delete that main image and then change it to the next one. What we want to do, we want to test. And because I specifically answer this way, because you're saying what time does it require for Amazon specialist team? Usually when it comes down to a specialist, for someone to reply, you would need to go through at least 2-3 back and forths, even 4 back and forths when it comes down to getting a specialist, to reply to your email, your case. So honestly, that is the way how I heard other people in your or other brands in your category dealing with this. Yeah, this is very similar to, as I was saying, female lingerie and so on. They also use their how do you call it? Female models. So female body, it's not a mannequin, and they still have success. So that is my only advice that I can do. And yeah, really let me know how it worked for you. Okay, next question. Okay, I love it. I'm going to answer this question as well. This is more an advanced question, but I'm going to answer it because it's important also for beginners to know. So if you need to aggressively recover the listing sales velocity and organic rank with the next 7 to 14 days without completely blowing out your budget, what is your technical PPC recovery strategy? I would zoom out for clarity, and I would understand what is the one thing that right now is taking up like the budget, because if right now everything what is taking up the budget is something that is not relevant to the listing and or it's not relevant to the strategy of I want to make more sales but profitable sales, those are the first things that I would cut. Because what is happening is that you might want to scale. The way how you're putting in the question is like without completely blowing out your budget. What can happen is that you can increase your revenue based on two things. Either one, you are creating new campaigns. Easy, you're going to pull the search reports for the past 30 days and then see what converted best that is not currently an exact match. You're going to create an exact match campaign for it, and in hope that it worked, it's going to work similarly to the previous campaign. That is one way of doing it. Now, the second way of doing it, it can be whatever works right now. Whatever works right now for the account, you would look into, do you have any budget limitations, like budget caps? Because that also can be because you're mentioning also daily spending is 700 per day. Then I am assuming, or wait, you're saying, yeah, daily spending is 700. So in this case, I am assuming that you have already a few campaigns created, not only the one campaign. Then based on that, I would look into, all right, based on all these campaigns, which one are my best performers that right now do not have enough budget, which are the campaigns that are bleeding money, which are the campaigns that do nothing for the money. So whatever is the best performing campaign, what I would do is make sure that their budget cap, if they are like, it's being reached during the day, it's going to be increased. The things that are high ACOS, for example, I would make sure that if they have more than one sale, I would not touch. But if they have only one sale, I would just pause. And also the things that just clicks and without any orders, I would pause them right away. So that's why I'm saying that right now it's just a prioritization issue. Giving you again an example, which is recently awarded a brand. And obvious to me, it was not obvious to them. One of their ad types is consuming 23% of the budget, and it's like very high ACOS, like 500 ACOS, 600 ACOS, so super, super high. So for me, it was evident that that is the first step that I should be doing in order to, one, help them create more sales, and two, to make sure that I'm going to redirect that spend that they already have spent on something that did not work on something that does work, right? But again, this comes with reps, and it's not expected from someone who's just like not day in, day out in an account to understand these things, right? So that it's going to be something that I would be doing right away. Look whatever is spending a lot, and I'm looking at the sales, the spend spend column, and then I like to attribute a percentage to each of them. Example, your total spend is 100%. Let's say campaign 1, campaign 2, campaign 3, or between these three, right? So let's say the first campaign is consuming 70% of the budget, but is a negative. That it's obvious. We have to look into it and see how to fix it. Only if you're fixing that, you already don't have to do anything to the campaign 2 and 3. You already improved the account itself. Let me know if that helped. Okay. Going through the questions. Let me know if that helped, by the way. I think that is most of the time the most obvious things to you as a brand owner, to you as someone who's looking to with a fresh eyes to an account, is not the most obvious for someone who has been day in and day out in their account, and they just like did so many actions, but it's not working the way how they wanted to. Okay. All right, next question. Again, this is not super beginner, but it's very helpful. How does the add to cart metric relate to Amazon PPC performance? Really interesting, and it's something that it's noteworthy. So when it comes down to add to cart metric and Amazon PPC ads, whenever someone is adding your product to their cart, but did not convert it on sale, it's still going to help you rank organically, which is something cool that I recently, came across. So technically, it's going to help you with ranking now. Amazon does wants you to like finish the funnel, right? So someone saw their product, someone added it to the cart, then someone purchased it. Why I believe personally, now I might be totally wrong, but I believe this is the logic behind it. Why I believe that whenever someone is clicking on the product and then they're adding it to the cart, would relate to your Amazon PPC performance later is that I know myself, whenever it comes down to shopping, even if it's both high, like expensive, $50+ product, or under $50, I would still add them to cart anyhow, and then keep it for later when I am actually going to consider and make a decision. Especially this is happening for products that I have not purchased before, or I'm still thinking of, should I purchase it, should I not, or comparing them to other products. Now, if it's a product that I already purchased and I know clearly that this is the product I'm looking for, I'm clicking on their ad, I'm adding it to the cart, I'm buying it. So in that sense, again, it's a clear conversion path. So that's going to affect Amazon PPC ads. But what I noticed on my end, even add to carts is still going to affect or impact in a positive way your listing, because at least someone considered your listing rather than they just like look at the other side, like what other possible outcomes could have been. One, they just skipped the product. So they never, even if they saw your product, they never clicked on it. And two, they just clicked on it and never added it to the cart. So that's why I'm saying that it has to do, it's still going to help you with organic ranking. Is not going to give you the same boost as if when someone is purchasing the product right away. Yeah, someone is asking in the chat about Google Ads or Meta. We are not currently running any Google and Meta ads, so sorry for that. It's like completely black. I am going to be the beginner asking the questions on that because we don't know. I don't know how to run them. All right, next question is, when should I use broad phrase and exact match keywords in Amazon PPC? It's funny, this question. The reason for that is, if I would have given you an answer 5 years ago to when should you be running these and how do they interact, it would be a totally different way than how do they interact now. So I'm going to give you an updated version of now in 2026, how do these match types interact. So broad, phrase, and exact. Technically, what you want to get is whenever something is broad match, everything that has at least one word and or synonym to that one word, it's going to show up in your search result. Everything that is phrase, it's going to be at least a part of the phrase being in the search terms that you are going to generate, and everything that is in exact match again should be exact match. But right now in 2026, it's not only exact match, it's going to be also synonyms of it, and this is only for sponsored product ads. So that being said, when you should when you should be using this, in Scaleway we have 5 strategies upon which we are creating advertising. We have the protect campaigns. This is for brand defense. Here we want everything that is an exact match to target our own products and our own brand. It's an exact match. Why? It's because we want to make sure that whenever someone is looking for our product, they would find our product. So in that scenario, you would be using exact match. We have the Conquer campaign, which is we are going to target our competitors and or listings that where we have a competitive advantage against. So in that scenario, what we're doing again in exact match, we are going to target those listings. Why exact match? Is because we want to make sure that we are not giving too much of a leeway to Amazon to showcase our ad wherever it is not supposed to showcase you, right? So then the third one is going to be rank strategy. Again, this is an exact match type of strategy, where in exact match we are going to find the keywords that describing best our product. Now again, in that scenario, you should be using exact match. When it comes down to broad and phrase, it's going to be, actually we have dominate as well, the fourth one, so I'm going to finish the cycle. Dominate, again, it's an exact match category where we are going to play around with placement modifiers. So for that, if we see on a specific placement our ad is performing well, we are going to use it. So as you can see, for the 4 campaign strategies that I just shared with you, all 4 of them are exact match. Why? It's because there we can control as much as possible the budget. Now, this does not say that you're going to control all the time the budget, because as I was saying, Amazon does show you similar keywords, or synonyms of the keywords that you're targeting as well. Again, for sponsored product ads, in sponsored brand, that's just a total wild, how do you call it? It's wildness there, because even if you're in exact match, you're going to showcase for product that usually would have been in broad match. Okay, now let's simplify this. The reason why I'm sharing for you 4 strategies is an exact match, always should be an exact match. Now, discovery campaigns is where we would be using broad match and phrase match and even auto campaigns. Why? It's because for discovery, we want to get as much as possible data from Amazon of what would they consider our product, where would be the best match, right? When I am saying that when should you be using this, it's really depending on what was the strategy behind. So if your strategy right now is to rank organically for a few keywords that you just want to make sure that you're going to show up always, all the time, for those, you cannot use the broad and or even the phrase match. You can, but it's not going to be as effective as exact match. And this is important for you to know, because most of the time what I see is if you're going to just create a campaign and just hoping for the best, if you don't know and don't understand the way how you structure the campaign, it's not going to help you get there. Let me know if that worked. Let me know if that helped. Okay, one more sip. Next question is, how do I choose and add the right keywords when creating an Amazon ad campaign? It's not so much about the right keywords or the wrong keywords. It's about, if you already have data for your campaigns, would you be listening to the data that's coming back from Amazon, or would you not? That's the way I like to put it. And the reason why I'm putting it that way is because what we are seeing on our end, if you're not going to listen to whatever the search report says, then you might be pushing for keywords that are not converting or at all, never converted for you, so all these that are negative, and or can be keywords that you're just not maximizing, especially when it comes down to, the placements that you're going to showcase these ones. And when it comes down to choosing to adding the right keywords, I think I would step back for clarity and I would ask you, yes, I understand that you want to choose the best keywords, but are we choosing these keywords based on, do we have a particular budget in mind that we are like, hey, right now I want to rank for these specific keywords. Can I even afford that? And the reason why I'm answering you that way is because what we saw on our end, again, this is from a story from a different brand that we managed a while back. They were selling successfully for a particular keywords 2 years ago. But then what we did on our end is when we started again these ranking campaigns for them, we got back very, very quick feedback loop data on those 5 keywords that previously worked for them. It did not work anymore because the competitors picked up. So here my question to you is that when you're asking right keywords, you are also assuming that those keywords previously you converted on or not. And why is that important to know is because when it comes down to creating new campaigns, if you're going to create new campaigns, even if the keywords are correct, you're not going to get the same result as you got 2-3 years ago when competition was smaller, when the landfill, it looked differently on Amazon. So really it comes down to, one, search the best keywords that are describing your product, use your search term reports for that. And then second, look if with those keywords you're not receiving the same amount of volume, the sales that you did maybe 1-2 years ago. Look into, for those keywords, your competitors. What is their main image? Very, very most important thing, because if their main image is way better describing the product than your main image, then already you're losing. So those are the first things. I would not anymore ask what are the right keywords. I would do a research on the keywords, see how does my product looks like when compared to those competitors, and then should I even be considering bidding on those keywords. Let me know if that helped. Okay, I see that we are live on YouTube, yes, both vertical and also the horizontal. Okay, cool. So next question is, how can I explain the value of Amazon PPC for a potential client? Great question. So Amazon ads would have a potential, would have value for you if you first want to understand the platform itself, how much will it cost you to get to your goal. And then second, Amazon ads would have value for you if you are willing to compete with competitors whenever they are going to upgrade their listings here as well. And why am I saying this is because especially now in 2026, what I'm seeing, Amazon ads is not just anymore, I'm just creating a campaign and it's going to work right away, unless you're a very well-known brand, and most of your sales are coming from your branded terms, right? But right now, how Amazon ads work is, if you want to really see the value of Amazon ads, first off, be willing to understand that you have to also compete for that, for those eyeballs, to make sure that your listing is going to be chosen. And if they're not understanding that, no matter what you're going to tell them, and explain to them and how logically you want to make this for them, it's not going to click. Why? Is because what I'm seeing is that most of the time, whenever we're talking to brands, they want to see the potential that the platform can bring to them. But in the same time, once that you are telling them that and you're showing them even case studies, in our case, look how did we grow this brand in 4 months or in 2 months or in 1 year, you're like, that's amazing. But they have a hard time understanding that that is the ad portion, and the rest, which is the traffic, and the rest, the listing itself, the quality of the listing, the quality of the product, the quality of the images that are going to basically sell the listings. If that is not competitive, and if they are not willing to always, same like with advertising, we are creating new ads, we are testing new things, the creative side, we are creating new images, we are testing new things, should be hand in hand. That is when they are going to see value. Otherwise, if you're going to send them, otherwise, if you're going to tell them about how amazing is Amazon ads and it's an additional, platform for you to grow on, it's great and they might be believing you, but then they don't have the second part, which is Amazon ads creatives are just as like, it has to have also their own merit and their own place there. Same way how you would be running any other type of ads. I'm a bit low on energy today, seemingly. It's okay. We can answer a few more questions. Today's questions, I answered them just a bit more long and in depth, so it's okay. I'm not sure I understand. The question. The question is, how do I set up a click-based PPC campaign on Amazon correctly? So everything is click-based, pay-per-click based on Amazon. So I'm not really understanding that. But if that is the question of how would you set up Amazon ads campaign, just as I was saying in 2-3 questions previously, just go through them, please. I already answered the question there. All right, great. So it says, why am I getting plenty of clicks from my Amazon ads, but no sales? Many things can happen. It can, one, be the campaign type that you created, the structure. If it's a more discovery type of campaign where you don't have exact match, but you have anything that is not exact match, that is already going to generate your clicks without no conversion, or it's going to generate a way larger amount of clicks than an exact match campaign. And again, that can be a reason why you are getting clicks but no sales. Another reason why you could be getting this is category targeting. Now this is closely goes hand in hand with my first answer, but category, again, it's one of those broader broader match types that if you're creating, you might be getting lots of clicks but no sales. Why else? It can be that you're targeting, the third thing that I am thinking of, it can be that you're targeting a keyword that maybe your price is like $9, you're getting a click, and your competitors are $20, for example. So you are getting quicker click than they get, but still it's not going to get to conversion because whatever you were targeting, it's not describing exactly the product they looked for. That's the next thing that I'm looking at. Or fourth, it can be that's totally irrelevant to whatever you're selling. These are on top of my head. Those are the reasons why. Okay. Great question. Not necessarily beginner, but it's a great question. Also, beginners should know. It says, how do I create a PPC campaign that targets Amazon? Consider similar item placement. Amazing. So far to my knowledge, you are not able to do that via PPC. Like there's no one setting that is going to allow you when you're creating an ad. However, what you can do is you can also have I think what you want to do, and this is also something that we did for one of our brands back when we were running lots of ads for it. We were running ads for the one product and for the second product, and then more it was purchased, both of them, the closer we had the frequently bought together stuff on. And that is not something that we knew that we were actually doing, but that's what it turned out to be. And it was for those exact same keywords. So when someone was looking up one keyword, our product shown up, and then when then they clicked on our product and then they see the other product as well that went hand in hand with the first product. They bought it both of them together, and then we got to the frequently batch, so it was next to each other. Consider a similar item placement is not necessarily a placement though. If I'm reading again your question, the consider a similar item placement, yeah, it's not a placement. That would be the trick to get it, honestly. That is a good trick that I know that it still works to advertise two of your products and then buy them together, so it's going to be frequently bought together. That would be the closest to a consider a similar item placement. Yeah, the questions are like very similar, so I'm just going through quickly. Okay, interesting question. If I wanted to master Amazon ads, what topics should the complete course cover? Very interesting. So when it comes down to Amazon ads, I think the most important topic that it should cover is the basics when it comes down to not ad types only, like exact match, broad match, phrase match, category match, manual campaigns, auto campaigns, but for you to understand how does the bidding system works, and whenever you are going to bid and lower or increase the bids, what's the impact of it. Reason for me for saying that, especially since I learned Amazon ads by my own, is that while I understood the basics of if I'm creating this campaign, then that's supposed to be the outcome, I had a very hard time in understanding how much can I lower or increase my bids. So whenever I just slashed my bids by 50%, say I lost all that traction, all the traffic. So right now, I think one of the most important things should be covered is how to make sure that whenever you are going to adjust bids, you're going to do it the right way. And then a second, this, I'm not sure if any course covers, thankfully we have our YouTube channel, and also these sessions where I'm talking about what is the strategy that you're creating the campaign for, because that is way more helpful for you to understand if I created an exact match campaign and if I want to rank for those keywords and it's a ranking campaign, if it's not achieving that purpose or that goal of the campaign, technically, I'm not running any more ranking campaign. I'm running maybe a very low bid ranking campaign, but still it's not going to be helping me with ranking as if I would be bidding the highest for it. So I think those things are not spoken enough about. It's also a lot of technicality when it comes to Amazon ads, which I particularly don't enjoy, but understanding bids is a must, and understanding strategy, why are you creating them, and the fundamentals for that is again a must. All right, guys, I think that this is a wrap. Thank you so much for joining and for being here with me. Again, my name is Noemi. I'm the founder of ScaleWave. We are an Amazon ads specialized agency helping brands between 6 and 7 annual revenue succeed on Amazon. If you found value in this and want to have a quick call with me, maybe want us to audit quickly your ad account, feel free to book a quick strategy call. You have it in the description section. Also here, if you're watching this on LinkedIn, you have it. I think it's the first link that you can see once that you're on my profile. Thanks so much for watching. We are going to have these sessions every Monday from 1 p.m. EDT moving forward. Thank you, and feel free to submit your questions. We are going to align them for next week if we have not answered them right away. Take care. Have a good one. Bye.